down, down, don't bring me down. 화상한 척 따윈 제발 좀 넣어도 show me, baby. Everglow forever, let's go. Got no time for haters, 모두 다 집어치워버려. 라디라디라다, 라디라디라, 라디라디다, 라디라디다. I can't even hear him, no, I just 모두 지워버려. 라디라디라다, 라디라디다, 라디라디다. Feeling myself, hey, 틀에 갇혀, 두려웠던 너의 기억 전부 바꿔 now. 진심 없는 거짓말로 숨기지 않게 잠은 그 헛새 따위 날려버리게 Let go. 멈춰왔던 심장 소린 crazy crazy. 네 마음이 원하는 걸 솔직하게 tell me tell me. 절대 널 이대로 기다려주지 않아. Sorry no sorry sorry. 우스워질라 밀고 당길라. Don't bring me down down don't bring me down. 화상한 척 따윈 제발 좀 넣어도 show me, baby. Got no time for haters. 집어치워버려. 라디라디라다, 라디라디라, 라디라디다, 라디라디다. I can't even hear him, no, I just 모두 지워버려. And I'm like 라디라디라다, 라디라디다, 라디라디다. This is for the players that hit it. Give up, turn it up now, turn it up. Come on, shake it up now, shake it up now. Turn it up now, turn it up now. Oh yeah, yeah. Got no time for haters, to all the bad guys and the players. I'm like la di da da di da 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 di da di da. Got no time for haters, 모두 다 집어치워버려. I'm like 라디라디라다, 라디라디다, 라디라디다, 라디라디다. I can't even hear him, no, I just 모두 지워버려. 라디라디라다, 라디라디다, 라디라디다.
Baby, I'm just trying to play cool, but I just can't hide that I want you.
Wait a minute, 이게 뭐지? 내 심장이 랍다 자꾸만 뛰어 저 멀리서도 oh my gosh 그러던 그 you're my crush 조는 유처럼 гал라디 앉아서 기댄 것만 같아만 이 모든 게 내 맘에 달라붙어 버려 boy We make the days 인정할게 This time I want you, like it's magnetic. You, super equilibrium. You, like it's magnetic. You, super equilibrium. Like it's magnetic.
Baby, don't say no.
집안들 같아 R-Type 넌 제일 난 완전 B 애소한 극이지만 그래서 끌리지 내가 만들어 green light 이 여잔 별장이지 So let's go let's go let's go let's go 숨기고 싶지 않아 자석 같은 my heart 내 맘에 끌린 대로 너를 향해 갈게 boy We make the times 인정할게 This time I want you, like it's magnetic. You, super equilibrium. You, like it's magnetic. You, super equilibrium. Push and pull 전속력으로 너에게 갈게. Chemistry는 과몰입해 지금 순간에. Push and pull 내게 집중 후에는 난 할래. Never holding back 직진해 yeah. This time I want you, like it's magnetic. You, super equilibrium. You, like it's magnetic. 다시 take that.
Baby, don't say no.
I'ma get it. Shoo. I'ma get it. Shoo. Watch, I'ma bite back, 짙은 어둠이 막아설 땐, 한 걸음 앞으로 날아든 it's best. 사라진 feedback, 시작된 call black, 깊어가 혼란스러운 밤, 악몽은 또 짙게 번져가. 뭔가를 숨기려고 해. I got it, I got it. 혼돈을 타고 덮쳐 killing like bang, chitty bang, bang, chitty bang, bang. 'Cause I wanna see truly. Bang, chitty bang, bang, chitty bang, bang. 내게 다가와, I'ma get it done. Away, away, 널 향해 gonna get it done. Away, away, 이제 날 끝내 better. 끝을 모르는 너와 나 gonna 깨뜨려 거침없이 done. Full shot, pull it up, I'ma get done. I'ma get him. Shoo. I'ma get him. Hey, yeah. 또 다른 날 우리 막지 마. We never play nice. 완벽한 패널 똑같아서 3 to get ready, 우리 shoot and go. 겁 없이 누벼 날 이겨는 way. Bang, bang, chitty bang, bang. Yes, I'm gonna see burn it. Bang, chitty bang, bang, chitty bang, bang. 답이 들려와, I'ma get it done. Away, away, 널 향해 gonna get it done. Away, away, 이제 날 끝내 better. 끝을 모르는 너와 나 you gonna 깨뜨려 거침없이 done. Away, away, full shot, pull it up, I'ma get it.
Hello, everybody. We have a very special treat for you here tonight at UTD Esports. My name is Craig. I am here with my co-caster,
Braxton.
and we have something very special for you guys. We don't usually do this. It's a very rare event, but we were approached by Chung-Ang University, one of the top universities in South Korea, and they specifically sought out to set up a show match with our Overwatch team here at UTD Esports. So what we have on schedule for you guys tonight is we're going to do 3 maps against them. Not a best of 3, just 3 back-to-back-to-back as a show match with the UT Dallas Esports team versus Chung-Ang University. And then finally, we'll do 1 mixed roster game, mixing up players from both of these schools to kind of have a little bit of fun on the last map. But we have a very special treat for you. We're already ready to jump right into it. So UT Dallas versus the challengers Chung-Ang University. We are currently going to play this first map on US West servers. So UTD is going to be on low ping. Chung-Ang University is going to be playing on about 200 ping. So that might affect what they're able to do here in this map. But Braxton, how do you feel about these comps coming out so far?
I'm absolutely loving on this side. We have Eric on Symmetra swapping up to Genji. His Genji is iconic. Love to see him on that. And then over the right side we have... Oh, there's a Cassidy. I do love Cassidy. Phone is on on-run. I've never seen Phone on on-run.
Looking like it's going to be a very slow pace here for Chung-Ang University, playing that Sigma comp. They have Hiku Lee stationed on the Cassidy. He's going to be able to do a lot of poke damage. UTD going to have to play for fast engages, and you see Phone going in, going out already, but Eric on the side fight is going to find a pick onto Sunken Rusher, and that'll be the cue. UTD is going to collapse in. Chung-Ang University forced into the box on Lijiang Tower. Garden, first fight will go to UT Dallas, and they'll get the first capture of that objective.
Fantastic fight all around with UTD there. Very good push in, and we're going to have ult advantage going in for the next fights. Good tempo on our part, and very good point control here.
And now you see Poor Orange, the flex DPS player for Chung-Ang, is going to try to wrap around through right side, through the white room. Chung-Ang University needs to find a way to get some space here. It's going to be very difficult for them to force their way through that bridge. Poor Orange is going to be the best tool they have to do that on the Tracer. Now UTD responsibly moving into white room to try to stop Chung-Ang University's advance onto the point. Shield already very low for Young, the Sigma for Chung-Ang University. Now Abdullah is into the backline trying to trade things out. Recall is forced out for Poor Orange, but Doi out of position will get punished by Young. UT Dallas down 1 on the back foot. Abdullah's going to go in for another dive. Phone getting a lot of value. Young running very low, but is managing to survive so far. Phone getting very greedy here, manages to get out. Everyone on Chung-Ang is very, very low. UTD trying to stabilize right now, still missing that healing from Doi, but he's coming back on the Jetpack Cat. Pylon is down from Hypnotic. Now Poor Orange trying to clean up in the backline here, but Doi is doing work. Hermosa will fall by the wayside. Trades are left and right now, but finally UTD will get the better of the trades behind the Kitsune rush from Hermosa and take second fight of Lijiang Tower. Poor Orange, desperation attempt to try to stall at that point a little bit longer. Will not get a trade. Has that pulse bomb coming online. Hypnotic loses the Mizuki ult, swapping on to that character. Abdallah's getting swung around right
Are we going to
side
see
right
Diva
now.
Bomb with the cat here? I really hope so.
I think that could be the play for UTD. Very ambitious rock from Nyang there. Almost catches Doi lacking. And now Doi has the bomb tethered behind him. He's going to drag it into Nyang and is not quite going to hit. Abdallah now stuck in the backline, has to remech. Doi will get traded. Eric finds another pick onto Sunken Rusher in the side fight. UTD, though, still commanding a lot of space on the map. Eric running low, but Hermosa with the TP is going to save him. Eric building up to that blade. Phone will find poor Orange finally in the spawn room for Chung-Ang University. Now, Chung-Ang has to touch the point here. 94% and counting. Hypnotic will fall once again. Eric is just lethal on the Genji right now. Graphitic Flux for Nyang will not get any value as Eric slices through them. And UTD commandingly takes first round against Chung-Ang.
Honestly, around there for UTD was a very strong hold. They got control of the point, and then they did not let Chung-Ang in at all. Any ult by Chung-Ang there, unfortunately, got shut down very quickly, like the blade into Graphitic Flux there. And then earlier in the rounds, we also did have the very strong Kiri ult immediately, which held the tempo on the point.
I think Chung-Ang really struggled to find their footing into the fast-paced composition from UT Dallas. Abdallah on that Diva with the double flex DPS from Eric and Phone meant that UTD was able to push the pace really hard, and you saw the second fight there on guard, and Chung-Ang managed to get a first pick onto Doi. He fell very early, but because their composition with the Sigma and the Cass is so slow, UTD was able to drag out that fight so long just using those movement cooldowns to live, and they always ended up finding the better end of those longer fights. Now, Chung-Ang University, this map should favor them much more as we move on to control center of Lijiang here. Hikuli is going to have a great time playing that Cassidy. Now, the Brig as well for Sunken Rusher. They should be able to hold very steadfast in this top room right now, but I mean, wow, Nyang is down very early. Abdallah just beating him down on that Ramatra, and now UT Dallas is just going to charge forward. Sunken Rusher will be the next name to fall, and once again, UTD is just looking commanding here.
UT has pushed Chung-Ang completely back to their spawn so far here, which is looking really rough for them. But I do have hope in them here. They have some strong players here.
There definitely is some hope. I do think, in theory, Chung-Ang has the better composition for Lijiang Control Center. Phone is taking a very ambitious duel on the sideline right now. 2 more seconds till that drone comes back. Can they escape? It will not be. Poor Orange comes in to help out Nyang, but now Sunken Rusher gets caught lacking on his way out of spawn. Hermosa manages to get an early pick on the Wu Yang, and we're traded. It's a 4v4 respawns favoring Chung-Ang. Nyang is running very low right now. He has to watch his HP carefully. Hiku Lee trying to poke down Doi in main. Hermosa has the orbs trying to support Doi on this fight, but Abdallah will get taken down by a flurry of damage from poor Orange on that Sierra. Now Chung-Ang is going to be able to advance onto UTD. No tank means that they can play very aggressive. Poor Orange is trying to get something going right now, but a headshot from Doi will take him down. He can be trades out to Hermosa, but UTD is just finding so many trades in these mid-fights. Now Nyang going to try to flip the point here. Phone running very low, but finally the ankles will come in for UTD. Nyang's resources are running low. Shield is cracked. No more kinetic grasp either, and he is going to fall on the back end of this fight.
UTD is just doing a very strong job of blocking down the point in general. I mean, they're getting really strong pushes into them, onto their backline, holding them at bay, and Chung-Ang is just having difficulty here, maintaining their distance to stay alive.
UTD is being so aggressive, taking so many duels and side fights right now, and you see Phone gets another early pick onto poor Orange. Doi pops that Captive Sun on the side of the map, hovering off a coast, and manages to find Hiku Lee and Sunken Rusher. Chung-Ang is going to be forced back into their own spawn, but it's not the end of the world for them. They don't use any ultimates compared to Doi and Phone, both using that Captive Sun as well as the Barrage from the Sierra. So Chung-Ang has a big advantage in the ult economy now. They need to find a way to get value out of this Graphitic Flux when it comes up, and if they can make that Captive Sun hit to a few members of UTD, it could be a very quick fight for them. Hypnotic running very low right now, trying to keep poor Orange alive in the spawn room here. They need to find a way to make an advancement towards the backline of UTD, and that Captive Sun is going to be their tool to do it. It hits onto both the supports from UTD, but I mean, UTD, their front line is doing so much work. Eric and Phone just take the tempo into their own hands, killing 3 as soon as that Captive Sun comes out. And Chung-Ang is just once again not even able to find their footing on the second sub-map here of Lijiang Tower. That's going to be a fast map for UT Dallas. And I mean, you know, fast maps are kind of what you expect. UTD, we're known for this style where we play those double flex DPS compositions. You saw when Phone was on the Onron, Eric was on the Genji. They were just very, very aggressive, and it's something that's very difficult for Chung-Ang to deal with, especially considering that first map there we were playing on US West servers. So Chung-Ang had about 200 ping compared to UTD, which we're playing on 40 or 50, given that we're connected to the West Coast. So I think if we were to switch the servers up, which we might do for the next couple of maps here, it could give a chance for Chung-Ang to kind of snap back and maybe find a way to find their footing and react easier to these double flex compositions compositions that UTD is running. As of right now, though, that looked very dominant for UTD. I mean, even the ult fights, when UTD kind of used their ultimates in a suboptimal way and Chung-Ang came back with more, they just didn't have opportunities to even start their fights off. You know, we saw no graphitic fluxes from Nyang in the first map there, and all of Lijiang, both of those rounds, he built it, but wasn't able to use them until last fight when it was already over. So small things like that in the ult economy end up having big impacts on the outcomes of these games. So we'll have to see what Chung-Ang is able to do about that. Hopefully, you know, if they can get their ult economy down and start winning the fights where they have more materials, you know, more ultimates compared to UTD, then they could claw their way back into this and hopefully turn things around, take map 2 or map 3 here as we're moving forward. And speaking of map 2 and map 3, we don't have a lot of info on the actual processes for what we're going to do, picking either these servers or the maps themselves. I do believe, by the way, I forgot to mention, but there were 2 bans going into that first map there. Chung-Ang had first ban, and they chose to ban the Lucio away from Hermosa, while UTD with their second ban chose to ban Wrecking Ball. Not sure if that's a targeted ban. We don't have a lot of information on Chung-Ang because compared to UTD...
Going into these next maps, because, I mean, obviously, we don't know what they're going to play at all. We have no information at all. We don't know what their hero pools look like, if they have any good double flex comps, how strong their hit skin might be on more favorable maps, longer sidelines and stuff like that, and how they might deal when Lucio's back up in the next maps as well, because I mean they made out Lucio first map, but with Lucio going to following maps, can they handle how oppressive UTD might be, is what I'm wondering about.
From what I can glean from Chung-Ang University so far in that first map of Lijiang, as well as their style with banning those characters, you know, choosing to ban Lucio first with very little information on their opponents, I can kind of gather they want to play these maps with longer sightlines. I think the Lucio ban on Lijiang there, the main goal was to enable their Sigma hit scan composition. They want Hiku Lee to be able to do as much as he's able to on that Cassidy, and then Yang to have an easy time on that Sigma. Getting a really long poke phase against UTD where the Lucio's banned, and it's hard for UTD to close that gap onto the front line of Chung-Ang, you know, because the Sigma pick is very strong, especially if you have long open sight lines. There's not very many of those on Lijiang Tower, so banning out the Lucio does give you a chance to run that comp. Going into map 2, something I would like to see from Chung-Ang is maybe taking UTD to some sort of escort map, something like a Blizzard World, or maybe a Havana even, where, you know, those longer range compositions, you can, you know, get, you can get Hypnotic back onto that Alari where he seemed pretty comfortable on Lijiang Tower, you know, an open kind of poke style map where you can get a lot of value out of that Alari pick, and then enable Nyang and enable Hiku Lee to play the characters that they're most comfortable on. But something else I think we do need to see is I would love to see a step up from Poor Orange. I think he did struggle a bit on the Tracer on that map of Lijiang, and I think that was mostly because playing Tracer on ping can be very difficult. Assuming that we're going to switch up the server and give Chung-Ang a chance to play on a low ping South Korean server match where UTD would now have to shoulder that 200 millisecond latency, I think that would enable Poor Orange to do a lot more in the match on the Tracer, because that character specifically, timing is so important, your micro is so important, your ability usage. If you mess up the timing even by 200 milliseconds like that ping that Chung-Ang had for that match, it can have a drastic impact on your ability to live. And I think we saw that, you know, Eric a lot of times was able to just take side fights, take down Poor Orange. And it's actually sounding like we're going to have a substitution for Chung-Ang University. So Sunken Rusher and, Sunken Rusher is going to be subbed out for, who was that?
Young Guy is the DPS player.
For Young Guy. So Young Guy actually was originally listed as a DPS player for Chung-Ang University. Poor Orange was actually switched to the starting role just before this match began. So it's looking like now they're going to throw in someone who would normally play damage in Young Guy onto the support role in exchange for Sunken Rusher. And Rusher actually was playing the Brigitte in that match, so I would believe this is actually their main support player. If that is the case, I wouldn't be surprised to see Chung-Ang try to bring out a double flex support composition and take us to a map something like Havana, where they could run maybe an Alari Zin or an Alari Bap, something very mechanics heavy, something very poke heavy, where they can kind of get the most out of having a DPS player off-rolled onto that support role. Moving forward, I'm not sure if we have any information on what the map pick is just yet. So far, we don't have any maps or bans coming in, so I think we're going to figure that out. We're going to cut to a short break, and we'll be back with map 2 of our show match, UT Dallas Esports versus Chung-Ang University. We will be right back after a short break.
I'm like some kind of supernova. Watch out, look at me go. Give me 좀 boy. 빛의 core, so high. 열려 서로의 좀 supernova. Nova. Can't stop. Hyper. Stellar. 멈춰. 그걸 찾아. Bring the light of a dying star. 불러내 내 우주를 봐봐. Supernova. Body bang. Make it feel too right. 휩쓸린 energy, it's so special. 잔인한 queen이며 scene 이제 종결. 이토록 거대한 내 안의 explosion. 내 모든 세포 결로부터 만든 control. 질문은 계속 돼, 우린 어디서 왔나, 느껴내 안에서. Supernova. Nova. Can't stop. Hyper. Stellar. 멈춰. 그걸 찾아. Bring the light of a dying star. 불러내 내 우주를 봐봐. Supernova. 보이지 않는 힘으로 내게 손 내밀어볼까. 가능한 모든 가능성 무한 속에 너를 만나서 맞아. Bang bang don't forget my name. Supernova. 사건은 다가와 거세게 커져가 질문은 계속돼 우린 어디서 왔나 사건은 다가와 거세게 커져가 Tell me 우린 어디서 왔나 우린 어디서 왔나 Nova. Can't stop. Hyper. Stellar. 멈춰. 그걸 찾아. Bring the light of a dying star. 불러내 내 우주를 봐봐. Supernova. 사건은 다가와 거세게 커져가 질문은 계속돼 우린 어디서 왔나 Bring the light of a dying star. Supernova. 아무것도 안 했는데 왜 시간은 벌써 3시 아이스 아메리카노 마셔도 왜더 후끈후끈한
And just like that, we are back with map 2 of the show match here with Chung-Ang University Dragons versus the UT Dallas Comets. Both of our Overwatch teams going head-to-head. You saw first map, bit of a commanding victory there for UT Dallas. And now map 2, going to try to get some momentum back. Chung-Ang University is going to take the Comets to Kings Row with their own map pick. Now bans came out for both of the teams as well. UT Dallas with their first ban chose to take the Jetpack Cat off of the table. So Jetpack Cat will be banned for this match. And then in response, Chung-Ang University decided to ban the Ramatra that we saw Abdallah play a pretty commanding round of Lijiang Tower Control Center on. I mean, Braxton, how do you feel about those bans coming out for each of the teams?
I'm really sad about Jetpack Cat ban, honestly. With the recent surgence of Jetpack Cat Bastion on both the ladder in most regions and even in the final matches of the Overwatch Championship Series recently, it's really fun to watch. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of a mockery of a lot of mechanics we see in games, but it's really fun to watch, honestly. So I'm kind of sad to see the Cat banned. Maybe we'll see it in another game, but this one will not be the Jetpack Cat Bastion game for us.
And I think I'm starting to see the theory behind the Ramatra ban here for Chung-Ang University, because Nyang is actually going to roll out on the Reinhardt. UT Dallas also inadvertently going to be matching that Reinhardt. Not something that I think Abdallah would generally go for, but we're going to see a very traditional brawl-style composition for UTD here. Apparently, it was actually a planned Ryan Mirror, my sources are telling me, so both of these teams agreed in chat before this match to go to Kings Row and play a Ryan Mirror. So we're going to see who gets the better of this tank duel here, a Overwatch 1 classic. I will say UTD probably has a much stronger composition for it. That Mei from Phone is going to do a lot of work to stop Nyang from getting value. You see a big wall coming out already. Nyang goes down low and he will be falling by the wayside just in one turn of the ice wall from Phone. UTD takes a very quick first fight, only 30 seconds off the clock, and already 50% to the Blizzard from Phone.
It's super interesting to see Chung-Ang go for the double hit scan. Oh, they swapped immediately onto the Reaper. That's much better to see to match the Mei here, because against the Mei it's going to be very impressive to get through that.
Yeah, Phone loses that ice block pretty early here, so Chung-Ang might try to advance off of this, but Eric has a big angle on the high ground. Poor Orange will be the first name to fall, and UTD is once again just taking such a fast tempo that Chung-Ang is not able to react to, and now it's only the Reaper and the Juno alive on point for Chung-Ang. Hikuli will fall, and now Hypnotic stuck high ground. Gonna try to live this out a little bit longer, but UTD is slowly closing in. You can see Hermosa chasing them down on that Lucio. Meanwhile, Abdullah's got a bit of a sneaky position here. Hypnotic running all the way into second point spawn before finally Hermosa will wall ride up and take Hypnotic down. Abdullah going to get scouted out and be forced away by Chung-Ang, but still down that Juno right now. Not easy for Chung-Ang to engage. Abdullah is going to choose to use this to engage himself. Pins in, going to be counterpinned by Niang, and now both the Ryans starting to run a little bit low. Niang not getting healed up quite yet. Hypnotic is finally respawning, and you see UTD has so many ults online. Window from Doi, Blizzard and High Noon from Phone and Eric respectively. Chung-Ang needs to build these support ults really quickly. Here comes the window from Doi and the Fire Strike from Abdullah. Hypnotic will get one-tapped by that combination. Now Poor Orange, Young Guy, they will all fall down. UTD gets another clean fight win for the cost of one amplification matrix from Doi.
Chung-Ang does have Shatter here, but it's going to be very hard for him to get anything out with Blizzard and High Noon up. And Beat's coming out very soon from Hermosa as well.
And now the pressure is on. Can Niang get a big shadow here? If he can get this past the shield of Abdullah, that ultimate advantage for UTD could be completely negated. And Hikuli will fall very early in the poke phase here. Abdullah slides out of his secret spot, and now Niang gets shattered. The Blizzard from Phone to follow up. You are not going to move for the next 30 seconds. Niang will go down. And Chung-Ang, time is tickling off the clock here. They only have a minute 30 left, but they have so many ultimates
Every ult
online.
is coming up here. This is going to be a big push from them, what I hope to see. I want them to get some priority back in this match, and it makes some big plays.
Very, very stealthy hiding spot from Abdullah there. Hermosa, though, with the beat will go down very early. Abdullah will trade out Poor Orange, but now here is the Orbital Ray from Hypnotic. Young is going to use that to charge into the enemy team, and he's going to drop the Shatter onto Eric. Chung-Ang will finally take their first fight of the series. Abdullah still putting a lot of pressure onto Young Guy in the spawn here, but the point is being flipped over. Abdullah's death is inevitable, and there he goes. Young manages to club him down. Now Chung-Ang only one tick left to go here. Does UTD even bother trying to touch the point? Hermosa does have that beat. He's stationed up top. Phone switches on to the Widowmaker. Poor Orange will go down. Now Hermosa's in with the beat. Hikuli does have the Death Blossom, but he's going to choose to hold it for now. Chung-Ang University will capture the point, not able to convert off that pick for UT Dallas. UTD is going to be forced back on his second point at Kings Row.
Widowmaker here is super unorthodox to see, something you do not see often at all.
Yeah, Widowmaker on Kings Row, though, one of the better maps for it in the game because it's such a front-to-back style of gameplay. There's not a lot of room for TPS players to make for flanks. Hikuli is going to have a lot of pressure to try to stop Phone from getting value. Now Nano is out onto Poor Orange, the Nano OC for Chung-Ang. Eric's High Noon will catch Hypnotic, but Poor Orange is going to trade out Abdullah. Now Eric will fall in the side. Phone on this Mega getting beat back right now. A lot of pressure from Hikuli. Phone trying to get rid of them. Goes so low, and then finally Poor Orange swoops into the top of that high ground. Phone will fall. Doi is going to try to get out of this fight. And Hermosa's actually swapped onto the Life Weaver. He's going to be hiding up top. He and Doi are more than happy to just kind of bunker up top here. Poor Orange is very unsuspecting.
Poor Orange does not know what's coming.
Do the backline. Oh. No, there it is. Poor Orange tries to check that angle and is just met by a Baptiste and a Life Weaver. That is not a fun situation to be in. Now Hikuli does have the Death Blossom. He could try to turn this fight around, but Doi has the Amplification Matrix, going to be a powerful zoning tool to stop the advancement from Chung-Ang. Young is trying to get something done here, but is going to get beat back by that Amplification Matrix. Goes down very low, stuck in the alley. Nice pin onto Abdullah, though. He's going to deliver on a hot play to Chung-Ang. There is the anti-nade from Young Guy. Now Chung-Ang has won the tank trade here. Phone has switched onto the Soj off of the Widowmaker. Eric has found a trade onto Poor Orange. Eric going very low here, but Phone manages to live after that off angle. Now Niang is advancing. There's the big shatter. It's going to land onto Eric, but he's gripped away by Hermosa. Now Niang stuck onto the cart here. Nice fire strike onto Hermosa is going to take him down. Orbital Ray from Hypnotic invested as well. Eric will find a pickoff though. Abdullah coming back, almost has that shatter. Eric's High Noon is going to take out the second support for Chung-Ang, and now there's no healing left for Niang. He will fall on the payload as UTD takes another fight. 1 minute, 20 seconds left on the clock. Chung-Ang has to make something happen.
I would think Chung-Ang made a really good attempt there at the push there. They had very strong rotations there, a good push forward. UTD just was almost forced to cede the point there to them because of how much pressure they had, and they almost got the full cap there.
UTD is just playing such a deathmatchy style of Overwatch right now. Eric and Phone are taking so many side fights, so many off angles, and Chung-Ang is really struggling to respond to that in time. But now pressure is on Hiku Lee. He's been holding this Test Blossom for 3 fights. Young Guy has the Nano Boost available as well. If Hiku Lee can manage to get a good TP onto one of the squishies of UTD, could be a big fight, but Shadow from Abdallah on the high ground, followed by a Fire Strike on a Poor Orange to take out the Sojourn from Chung-Ang. Hiku Lee will trade it out with a Death Blossom. Nano is still online for Young Guy, but the numbers are just favoring UTD once again. Now 30 seconds left on the clock. Nyang is going to try to push towards Eric, but he has no HP left. Eric will just get that cleanup. Fallen with the overclock is going to land a nice one-tap onto Young Guy. And now can Chung-Ang even get out of spawn here? Poor Orange manages to pick off Phone, but every time there's a trade for Chung-Ang, there's another one right back for UTD. The numbers are still favoring the Comets. Hermosa has that Tree of Life available. Young Guy does have the Nano Boost. We'll have a pretty quick shadow here for Nyang as well, especially if that Nano Boost goes onto the Ryan for Chung-Ang. Hermosa lurking this high ground along with other UTD4 members. Now Nyang is going to make a fast move towards the payload. Eric gets caught out by that pin. Nano boost from Young Guy is going to give him the speed boost towards the cart here. And now he's just going to bunker up. They're going to try to kite out that Tree of Life from Hermosa. Doi will find Poor Orange though, using that extra overhealth from the Tree of Life. Now Phone is stationed on the Tracer on this high ground, just taking chunks out of Hypnotic's health bar. Finds Young Guy on the side. Very, very low, getting pressured away though. Chung-Ang still somehow stable on this card, but Abdallah is starting to find his footing in the fight. I don't think Nyang is going to be able to build the shatter. No, he won't. Too many angles from the DPS players for the Comets, and Chung-Ang will trickle away, getting 108 meters on the second point of King's Row here before being stifled on their attack.
Honestly, I really liked Chung-Ang's push there. It feels like at first they were really compressed and wasn't able to get much through. But then they were able to get a really strong push through there. It's really fun. Lots of side fights happening, which are incredibly hard to keep track of here, but it's making the match incredibly entertaining for us here. Lots of ults being used in very interesting ways, I would say.
Yeah, if nothing else, I mean, it makes for a very entertaining match because you can just throw the camera on a DPS player and they're probably doing something interesting at any given time. I would much rather have this rather than, you know, some standard old boring King's Row gameplay where everyone walks down main and shoots the tank. We don't want to see that. Come on, it's a show match, guys. Let's give them a show.
I think we have a stronger rivalry between Eric and the enemy Reinhardt here than we are between Abdallah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The Reinhardts haven't even interacted that much in this game outside of just, you know, going for cleanup swings onto one another whenever they have a clear advantage. But now Chung-Ang on the defense here. Hiku Lee, it looks like he's going to roll out on the Widowmaker. Now, again, that character is pretty strong on King's Row. He's thinking about it, but he's still in the spawn room, might switch it up. We'll have to see. Poor Orange on the Mei, though. I do like that a lot. I think that's going to stop UTD from being able to take their angles and their side fights as much as they are right now. If Poor Orange is able to land a wall that cuts off Abdallah's line of sight to his supports for Doi and Hermosa, then that means that Chung-Ang can just focus all of their energy towards shooting Abdallah and tearing away his resources, and they should be able to take quick fights or get at least more valuable trades by taking out the enemy Reinhardt in exchange for a support or a DPS of their own. Now, Hiku Lee finally is going to end up on the Freya. Hypnotic on the Alari as well. Bit of a switch up there. And Abdallah is already just barreling out of spawn. He takes a position behind the statue very early. And the chase from Nyang is going to come through. Abdallah going to run to that Mega right now. Nyang trying to keep him corralled into this back room. But on the front line, though, a lot of poke coming out from Chung-Ang. UT Dallas loses the Immortality Field from Doi. Nice flash from Eric is going to force Poor Orange to back up a little bit. That wall is gone and that block is gone as well. Now Abdallah jumps off of the top rope and gets a swing onto Nyang to finally break the stalemate here. Hypnotic trades out Hermosa, but UTD has their Ryan alive and it's going to be a big presence on the point. Ooh, Eric flies a little bit close to the sun there. Hiku Lee almost takes his head off for it, but he just manages to escape with 20 HP. Phone going to match this Freya actually. So gonna be some big shots coming in from Phone, a lot of pressure, but there's some good opportunity for picks onto the backline of Chung-Ang. I mean, the Alari and the Ana are gonna have to take those open angles where Freya can punish them very easily with a couple bolts. Abdallah running very low here. Nice wall from Poor Orange, gonna force him to the back of the point. Eric will get a pick onto Young Guy though. He's just got a ridiculous flank. He is all the way in the backline. He walked through the entire alley.
He's still going.
He's going for another. He's closing space now. And I mean, Nyang, what do? He can't shield off the sightline from Eric without getting beamed by the front line of UTD. Hypnotic finally is the last man standing, and Hermosa will just run him down into the corner. UTD, 5 minutes on the clock. High noon online, halfway to beat. Chung-Ang is going to be close to that Captive Sun, though.
Captive Sun is going to be very strong there, especially with how the teams are grouped and how they're pushing. It'll be very good for them to get the Captive Sun out and then a strong Abdallah gets the environmental kill against Nyang.
Nyang is off the map that early. Abdullah just pins in fearlessly. Captive Sun from Hypnotic is going to come out, but it's not going to connect to any of the members of UT Dallas. A nice shield from Abdullah is going to stop that from getting any value. That being said, he will still fly up to Doi and take him down in the 1v1 regardless. That flight, such a powerful tool into a hit-scan character like Baptiste. Abdullah goes for the exact same play twice, does not connect the pin this time. Nyang runs a little bit low, but Abdullah's in a bad spot, getting slowed down by the Mei. Eric is going to use that noon to zone out the remainder of Chung-Ang, and now things are stabilizing a little bit, but Abdullah will fall to the fire strike of Nyang, and he's going to be able to take a whole lot of space here on this Reinhardt. Pins toward the cart immediately. You see Phone starting to run low. Hiku Lee finds Eric in the side of the alley as well, and now it's just Phone and supports alive for UTD. Nyang is just going to walk forward with that shield, and they'll stabilize on the defense here. Second point, Kings Row.
Does Phone go for sneaky ult against the entire team? Phone does.
Bola comes through, not going to get a lot of value. Nano boost onto Nyang from Young Guy, but Nyang's not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. Now Shatter is online for Abdullah. He rounds the corner, he throws it down, but a great block from Nyang is going to stop it from getting any value. Now Blizzard from Poor
completely shuts him
Orange.
down.
Abdullah is frozen, and there's the retaliation. Nyang throws down the Shatter, connects on the 3 from UT Dallas, and it is all cleanup here for the Dragons of Chung-Ang University. Eric finds a trade onto Poor Orange, and Toy drops an MTD in chat to let the world know that Abdullah does not have it like that on the Reinhardt when faced with a real main tank player like Nyang.
A beautiful shadow from Young there. That was absolutely class act there for them. That was beautiful.
A nice little fire strike onto Eric to clean it up as well. Abdallah's trying to posture forward a little bit here, but he's going to get beaten back right now. Members of Chung-Ang University are on the cart. That's a very ambitious pin from Young. He is absolutely feeling it right now, and it's no DPS alive yet for the Comets. Now finally Phone will come back into the fray, going to be taking the Emery for this fight. Chung-Ang University has another Captive Sun online, but UTD has the sound barrier from Hermosa. They can use that to counter it. Great wall. Great wall from Poor Orange. Abdallah's going to get traded out as a result, but he does manage to get the pin onto Poor Orange before it happens. Now Captive Sun comes out, sound barrier as well, amplification matrix, every ult is getting thrown around, and currently it's a 3v3. Hypnotic and Hiku Lee running very, very low. Phone manages to get the cleanup, and now Nyang has to back up here. Manages to get a nice fire strike on a Phone, but Hermosa throws Hypnotic into the pit off the side of the map. Hermosa steals the Mega from Nyang as well. He is doing it all by himself, and that will stop Chung-Ang from getting a touch on the payload as Kings Row goes to the Comets.
Absolutely beautiful Ryan mirror on that right there. I absolutely loved watching that. Amazing rivalries ongoing and great ult usage there. The shatter duel there was awesome. When they're on the L, the shatter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that second to last fight there, beautifully played by Nyang. You know, it's unfortunate that Chung-Ang isn't able to clutch out that map, but I mean, that's still a highlight play regardless for Nyang. He gets a beautiful reactive block onto Abdullah Shatter. He knows that it's coming. He throws up that shield just in time, saves the fight, wastes an ult, and then comes back around, shatters 3 afterwards. I mean, you know, big plays like that, you don't get to see him very often in Overwatch 2. Reinhardt, you know, you spend most of the game getting shot, holding your shield, throwing out fire strikes, trying to build your shatter. When you do get to see some good old-fashioned outplays, you know, it kind of warms my heart as someone who was playing this game in 2016, 2017, back when that used to be, you know, a viable strategy. So, you know, always a fun little Ryan mirror. I'm getting called old in the microphone by our producer right now for playing this game 10 years ago. Thank you, production, for saying that. But yeah, 2 maps now to UT Dallas. None to Chung-Ang, but they showed a lot more fight on Kings Row than they did on Lijiang. That was a pretty refreshing map for them, and I wonder if they can take that momentum and try to build something here, maybe take a 3rd map.
I was really liking the swaps that were happening so frequently on DPS. DPS made a lot of different swaps. They had they both locked in Widow for a quarter of a second before both immediately swapping back to Freya. It was really entertaining to see, and there was a lot ongoing there. I mean, a lot of high ground control there as well in the upper tunnels on first point, and then a lot of rotations were ongoing on the right flank as well, which was, I mean, Eric's flank.
Yeah, it looked like there was a lot of fun being had from Phone there, you know, switching around to almost every hit skin in the game. I mean, we saw Phone on the Freya, on the Emery, on the Sojourn, on the Widowmaker, everything except the cast, which we got to see Eric on for the Comets there. So considering neither of those two, you know, really play a whole lot of hit skin, aside from Eric, who's pretty comfortable on the Sojourn, you know, pulls that out in a lot of our official matches, you could tell Phone was just having a good time with it. That said, what a map from Poor Orange, by the way. You know, someone who didn't have a whole lot of impact in Lijiang Tower on that Tracer managed to really find his footing switching over to the Mei on Kings Row. A lot of those walls were very high value.
Absolutely
at
vital.
Minimum, forcing out the immortality field from Doi, and in some cases just straight up, I mean, outright killing Abdullah and winning the fight for Chung-Ang. That swung a lot of those interactions. So big shout out to Poor Orange. Also built Blizzard relatively fast. You know, farming that ultimate's super important when you're playing Mei at a high level, and he was able to do it even on Kings Row, where, you know, in a Ryan mirror you're mostly shooting shields. It's really hard to build that ultimate up fast. He managed to get the job done. So now moving on to map 3. I'm not certain if we have a server change. I'm honestly not certain what server that map was
No
on. It
idea.
wouldn't shock me if you told me that that one was on South Korean servers and UTD was playing on ping. Considering, you know, how, I mean, stellar, really, the Reinhardt looked from Niang. He was able to react really quick to the shadow from Abdallah, throw that shield up just in time. That's not something that's really easy to do if you're on 200 ping. And then also, you know, the walls from Port Orange were on point. It's really hard to time those if you're playing on ping. So moving on to map 3 here. I believe Chung-Ang will have another map pick on their hands. We've played a control map, and then we've played a hybrid. What do you want to see coming out from Chung-Ang going into the final map of our regular series?
I love Push. Push is my favorite game mode to watch, honestly. There's so many comebacks, so many swinging, and then there's just so many fights. Push is just so compacted. There's so many fights on go, and especially super fun for when you turn certain corners on that map, the character changes you might see come up for both teams as well. And then, I mean, with the Cat ban gone, we might see Cat Bastion. That's all I want to see is Cat Bastion.
I would feel so bad if we had a team playing Cat Bastion on 200 ping. I'm just imagining what the hit reg would be like for the Bastion that's playing on ping. It brings me to chills. That said, something that would be fun, I would like to see a little bit of dive come out maybe, but
True.
We're not sure just yet. It's looking like we're going to take our time, Chung-Ang, deciding what they want to pick for the third map of our regular series here. So we'll be back after a short break once we have those bans that map pick for you, and hopefully we'll know which server we're playing on as well, be able to clue you guys in on that. So we'll be right back just after a short break.
I'm addicted 끊임없이 말을 걸어주는 나의 에스파 이런 교감 너의 존재 날 다른 차원으로 이끌었지 난 세상 중심에 You're in the flat 내 모든 액션 어린 너의 힘을 키워 언젠가부터 생각 너의 끝까지 보여 더 이상 못 참겠어 너 유혹해 삼킨 건 Black Mamba 넌 광야를 떠돌고 있어 나의 분신을 잡고 싶어 I'm addicted 선언만으론 너의 거대함을 이기지 못해 I'm exhausted 너의 존재 모든 탑백들을 먹고 자라났지 에스파는 나야 둘이 될 순 없어 But no chrome to colors 이건 evolution 위험해진 눈을 내 혹적이지만 널 부정을 받게 모든 걸 삼켜버릴 Black Mamba 넌 광야를 떠돌고 있어 내게 맞서는 질 수 없어 Black Mamba 거울 속에 나는 내가 아닐까 이끌어져 버린 환영인 걸까 다시 너와 연결될 수 있다면 너를 만나고 싶어 이제 모든 걸 삼켜버릴 Black Mamba 넌 광야를 떠돌고 있어 내게 맞서는 질 수 없어 Black Mamba 기나게 너와 이 밤을 너와 이렇게 너와 기다린 너와 시간을 너와 이렇게 너와 어둠 속 red light 시선을 left right 불 위를 건너 시작의 점화 가까이 온다 누가 뭐 겁나 어디까지 더 깊이 빠져들지 중독된 향기까지 그렇게 뒤섞여버리지 그래 더 우린 없는 거야 no I love you 널 위한 노래를 깊게 더 빠지게 락타 I love you 널 위한 춤을 춰 내게 널 다치게 락타 I love you 날 위해 불러줘 평생 날 못 잊게 락타 I love you Every day, every night, 락타타 Every day, every night, 락타타 Don't be lazy, 다가와 baby 시간은 너무 짧고 이건 아직 basic 좀 더 깊은 것으로 더 들어가 나를 머금고 취해도 대중여치 않은 lady 아주 화려한 이 춤을 락타타 뜨겁게 불태울 거야 다다다 뭐 어려워 다 널 부러워해 좋아 이 밤을 불태워 어디까지 더 그리 나빠질지 이 밤은 아침까지 그렇게 또 미쳐버리지 그래 불태워버려지게 내일은 우린 없는 거야 no I love you 널 위한 노래를 깊게 더 빠지게 락타 I love you 널 위한 춤을 춰 내게 널 다치게 락타 I love you 날 위해 불러줘 평생 날 못 잊게 락타 I love you Every day, every night, 락타타 Every day, every night, 락타타 빛나게 너와 이 밤을 너와 이렇게 너와 기다린 너와 시간을 너와 이렇게 너와 어둠 속 red light 시선을 left right 불 위를 건너 시작의 조마 가까이 온다 누가 먹었나 Every day, every night, 락타타 Every day, every night, 락타타 아름다워 이 전부를 던져봐 멋지게 기분 좀 떨림 느껴지니 원한다면 거짓없이 날 보여줄게 내 맘에 울림 느껴지게 화려한 하늘 높이 날아 올라 yeah 이 세상 끝까지 모두가 놀라게 기대해도 좋아 원하지 않잖아 시작할게 멋지게 끝을 모르게 울려퍼져 빈 밤부
Okay, we are back. I am Josh Buchanan, the esports program manager here at UT Dallas, and I am here with the dean of the Virtual Convergence College at Chung-Ang University. And we are
Hello.
ready to do a draw show.
Yeah.
We are going to do 2 games of mixed teams. We'll have 3 players from Chung-Ang University playing with 2 players from UT Dallas, and then 3 players from UT Dallas playing with 2 players from Chung-Ang University. So for us, we will have the tank from UT Dallas, Abdallah, representing myself, and we will have the tank from Chung-Ang University, Niang,
Yeah.
representing
Yeah.
Chung-Ang University.
Yeah.
So we have this hat here where we will draw names. So first we will start with the DPS players from UT Dallas. So if you'd like to pick a name from the hat.
Yeah. Yeah. This
Okay.
one?
All right. Do you want to reveal it to the audience?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Eric. All right, so Eric will be playing with Niang
Yeah.
on your team. So you can set him here. And that, of course, means that Phone, Alex, will be playing on my team with Abdallah. Okay, now we'll do the DPS players from Chung-Ang University. Okay. All right. You have
Yeah.
Poor Orange. Okay. So he will be playing with Eric
Yeah.
and Nyang.
Yeah.
And then that means for us, we have Hiku Lee playing with Phone and Abdallah from UT Dallas. Okay, now we'll do the support players from UT Dallas. I'll mix these up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hermosa. All right, so Nick Hermosa, who you actually met earlier this evening,
Yeah. Yeah.
will be playing with Poor Orange, Nyang, and Eric on your team.
Yeah.
And that means we have Doyi and Daniel playing here. Okay, and then last we'll do the supports from Chung-Ang University. Hypnotic. Okay, so we'll be playing for you guys, and then we have Rusher playing for us. So that means the final team representing yourself will be Eric,
Yeah.
Nyang, Poor Orange,
Orange.
Hermosa, and Hypnotic.
Yeah.
And then the team representing UT Dallas will be Phone, Hiku Lee, Abdallah, Doyi, and Rusher. Do you have who do you think will win? Do you think your team has this?
Yeah, of course. It's my team. I think best selection. I think I picked the best player.
Of course, of
Yeah,
course.
I won. I'm picking the
Okay.
names, and I'm sure yes, my team would win.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
in the competition. Yeah.
okay. Well, I believe in my team. I think Team Abdallah has this. But we'll see. So we'll play 2 games
Yeah.
of mixed teams, and we'll see what teams can take it home. So we'll quickly send it to break before we bring back our commentators, Greg and Braxton.
Okay, I understand. And also, yes, my team is very. Oh,
이런 나라 그대여 더 치명적인 전쟁 속에 두 발로 버텨줘게 블랙만 봐 두렵지 않아 내가 부셔줄게 달라졌어 우리가 광야를 넘어 돌아올 때 일그러져 버렸던 알잖아답게 마치 하나처럼 볼 미친 존재감의 현실 다시 남겨진 불씨가 거대한 악으로 자라나서 무기력하게 널 고립시켜둘 때 Reunit 우린 다시 함께 넘쳐 비리켜 넌 혼자가 아니야 빛났던 sacrifice 기억 찾았다면 보여줄래 나타나줄래 지금 여기 따라와 지켜봐 뭘까 We coming 소리
Thank you so much to Josh and Chris from CAU for doing our selection show there. Now we're ready to move into the second half of the day. So we're going to have 2 more maps for you guys here today, and the teams that have been assigned, one more time as a reminder, competing with Abdallah the Tank from UT Dallas, we have Hiku Lee from CAU and Rusher from CAU as well, as along with Doi and Phone from UT Dallas. And then on the other side, with Nyang the Tank from CAU, is going to be his teammates Poor Orange and Hypnotic, joined by Eric Alvarez and Hermosa from UTD. So now we have a bit of a mixed bag here, and that should even out the scale of the competition. It's looking like we're not going to be doing any bans for these last 2 maps of the series. The players want to have as much freedom as possible, and they are going to be going to escort maps for this map number 3. It's looking like the pick is going to be Circuit Royale. So I'm not entirely sure which server this one's going to be played on. That being said, it shouldn't matter too much. Won't give either team too much of an advantage, as you have 3 players playing from South Korea under Nyang's team, and then 2 playing from South Korea under Abdallah's team. So regardless of where the server is, it should be relatively evenly matched for these last 2 maps of the day. And I'm very excited to see how these new teams synergize. For one, these players have never met each other before. So trying to communicate in Overwatch at a top level, especially competing against your teammates, where there's going to be a friendly rivalry, I'm sure, between guys like Abdallah and Eric. It's going to be a little bit disjointed, but I think it's going to make for a very, very entertaining match. And it's looking like with Circuit Royale being the pick here, Hypnotic is going to get very comfortable on that Alari, but man, I really like the comp from Team Abdallah right now. Sunken Rusher and Doi on the BAP Zen, bread and butter poke comp backline for Team Abdallah. I think it's going to be really tough for Team Nyang to close the gap onto those 2, and it's all going to be on Eric's shoulders. Let's see if he can manage to make some headway into this comp. It's looking like he's going to go for his favorite strategy. He always likes to wall ride over the top right wall. He's actually not going to do it just yet here. Going to poke at Abdallah for a little bit, maybe wait until the mid-fight. But Eric's going to have to open things up one way or another. Now, Phone on the high ground poking, lands a nice rail onto Hermosa, and that'll be a very early pick for Team Abdallah. And Poor Orange slides in a little bit too quickly there, and now Team Abdallah going to handily take this first fight as Team Nyang is forced backwards towards the spawn.
Phone is already tearing apart Team Yang here. Eric really needs to lock in to start carrying this game for them.
Oh man, you know, he's just so readable sometimes. Abdallah already chirping at Eric in the match chat, says noob cut after killing him 3rd in the fight, as if there's anything Eric can do. What a silly goose he is. And now Eric, you know, he's going to decide to make a play of his own here. Now he's setting up for his favorite spot. He's going to wall climb over top right, and Phone could be unsuspecting of this incoming Genji dive. Here it is. Gets nice shurikens onto Sunken Rusher. Sunken Rusher goes very low, but manages to survive. And now Eric forced out with that Discord Orb applied, but that's going to give a lot of space here for Nyang to start walking up on this map. Hiku Lee will get taken out by a nice headshot from his teammate Hypnotic, but Phone gets the better of the Soj duel. Now it's a 4v4. Nyang running very low on the cart. Eric just getting pressured out by the Hyper Spheres from Abdallah. Now Hypnotic has that Captive Sun online, holding it, and it connects. It's going to take out Doi and Sunken Rusher. What a huge play from Hypnotic. Takes down the entire backline for Team Abdallah, and now Team Nyang should be able to capture first point here. Nyang is running very low himself. Abdallah doing a whole lot of damage right now, but the numbers for Team Nyang are just going to be too much to handle. Nice Graphitic Flux trades out Poor Orange, but Eric is right there with the cleanup. Eric, oh my gosh, takes down Phone as well, then on to Hiku Lee. What a huge play in the tail end of that fight. Great opening from Hypnotic as well. What a huge Captive Sun. Team Nyang takes point 1 of Circuit Royale.
Yeah, I'm really loving Hypnotic's positioning here, and the very strong Captive Sun there. It's a great opener for Eric to really dive in the backline, and then Eric is continuing to dive the backline here, but overextends just a little bit.
Eric's just getting very, very greedy there. Wants to see if he can get that extra kill on a Doi. I'm sure the fact that it is his teammate is motivating him a little bit extra. Nice rock there from Abdallah is going to cancel the kinetic grasp from Nyang, but I mean, really that overclock Phone is just doling out so much damage. Nice headshot onto Hermosa is going to take him out. Hermosa chirping right back, trying to keep Phone in their place. Eric goes very low here.
We are having Nano Blade coming up for Team Yang here. It's going to be a very big move.
True. Sunken Rusher, though, I'm looking at that Transcendence. If he can use it to deny the value from the Nano Blade, that's going to be a very good swing for Team Abdallah. That being said, Graphitic Flux is out from Nyang. Sunken Rusher is going to opt to hold that Transcendence so far. There it is. And now Team Nyang, if they can wait this out, they'll have a Nano Blade uncontested online. Nano's a little bit early onto Eric, but there's the end of the Transcendence. Sunken Rusher will be the first to fall. Now Eric slicing through. Doi goes down next, taking it to the backline as Hiku Lee getting chased down to the back of point 2 on Circuit Royale. Team Nyang storming forward, 3 minutes on the clock, and winning another fight here to push this cart closer to the end of the map.
That's what you like to see from Eric with the Nano Blade. I think it's almost perfectly timed, honestly. It looked a little early, but then as he engaged, it was perfect.
Yeah, the Nano a little bit, maybe tiny bit early from Hermosa, but it does keep Eric alive long enough for him to use the last 4 to 5 seconds of that blade after the transcendence from Sunken Rusher has ended. Big amplification matrix is going to pressure Nyang a lot. Another huge captive Sun from Hypnotic. He takes down half of Team Abdallah all by himself. I mean, he has not been missing with these. And now 3 minutes on the clock. Team Nyang is going to cap second point with 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the time bank. This is a huge insurmountable lead right now. Team Abdallah is going to have to find their footing one way or another.
Hypnotic is emoting to show off here after that play. Honestly, they deserve it. It was a very strong play.
Yeah, Hypnotic has been such a huge difference maker for Team Nyang right now. And I mean, poor Orange, you know, kind of having a quiet game right now on the hit scan. Eric as well, not doing quite as much as you would expect from this DPS line, but man, I mean, considering that they're playing into the BAP Zin, Hypnotic has been able to do so much work. Now, a Team Abdallah going to be playing for that Graphitic Flux, very close to it. High Noon, almost online for Poor Orange as well, can be used to try to zone out that Flux and deny the value from Abdallah. Poor Orange, though, gets a little bit ambitious on the sideline. Sunken Rusher is going to convert that into a very early pick. Team Abdallah should be able to find their footing here. Eric wants to try to find a trade in the back of this fight. Getting pushed away by Abdallah right now. Eric is still managing to live, only 50 HP left. Nice block onto Nyang's accretion, and then Eric will finally fall. So Team Abdallah going to be able to stabilize. Hypnotic, though, 50% to that next captive Sun. So far, they have been deadly.
You're looking at Graphitic Flux here on Abdallah. Oh, the overload comes in from phone here.
Setting the tempo, Poor Orange, Discord Orb, 150 charge, rail shot, not going to be living that, and then Nyang out of position, not able to kite out in time to avoid Phone's wrath with that overclock, going to fall as well. Eric, though, does trade out Phone after a very aggressive slide into the depths of Team Nyang. Now, Team Nyang has a chance to try to take this back. Sunken Rusher is approaching that Transcendence. He's going to have it well before Eric has the blade online. Abdallah going to set things up with a Graphitic Flux. Wow. Barely catches Eric, and then it's going to hit onto Nyang as well. I mean, Team Nyang is just being beat back once again.
And the Captive Sun comes right back up again.
Hypnotic is going to try to turn this fight around. Captive Sun hits. It's pretty big. Abdallah goes very low. Hikuli, 1 HP as well. Can Eric find this cleanup here? Hypnotic now stationed on the high ground, gets Hikuli first, and Eric will find Doi in the side fight. Abdallah running very low. Bastion swap out from Phone here. Desperate times, call for desperate measures, but not going to swing this fight. And now, Team Nyang has the Nanoblade online. They have the Graphitic Flux as well. They could do a rinse and repeat of the first fight of second point, in which they saw that Graphitic, or they used that Graphitic Flux from Nyang to force out the Transcendence, and followed up with a big Nanoblade from Eric to seal the fight. And at this point, it would get them the completion of the map. So that's the name of the game right now, is trying to find a way to bait this Transcendence. Nanoboost is actually going to come out very early onto Eric. He's not going to pop that blade just yet, though. Phone will get a nice cross-map nade onto Poor Orange on the Bastion there. Now Eric is in with the Dragon Blade. Phone will fall. No immortality field from Doi either. Eric going in, trying to get another kill off the back of this, but he's running very low, and he will fall to the pressure of Team Abdallah.
Bit of an unfortunate match, fight there for Team Yang there. Very overconfident High Noon out in the open space. Got shut down immediately by the Freya bolts and the Bastion nade. But they will come back.
Now, Doi and Abdallah both approaching their ultimates. Graphitic Flux and Amplification Matrix going to be online soon. If there is a silver lining, Nyang does hold the Graphitic Flux through the end of that fight. Eric gets picked off trying to rotate through the right side there. Nice shots from Abdallah, but then, ooh, gets caught out while throwing the accretion. Poor Orange, some nice shots to punish Abdallah there. Now, Team Nyang is going to walk forward with its Graphitic Flux, connects onto the Bastion, connects onto the Baptiste. Nyang is running very low, though. Hypnotic will tell Sunken Rusher to get off of them. Manages to use that boop in the corner to take out the remaining HP of that Zin, and then Phone gets a stagger pick off as well. Team Nyang almost has his supportals coming up too. Nice flux from Abdallah is going to get Nyang very low, and then he'll be able to follow it up. The Amplification Matrix from Doi on the high ground will do the job. Poor Orange picks up Hikuli in the mid-fight, but is traded off just as quickly. Now Eric, though, finds a pick onto Doi, but Abdallah has so much HP on this cart. Team Nyang is not going to be able to clean up this fight, and there it is. Sunken Rusher will put the nail in the coffin. Eric falls, and Team Abdallah is still holding strong. After 4 minutes of holding this third point so far, they have not been able, or Team Nyang has not been able to break the hold just yet. Abdallah's out 1v3ing right now on the front line. Just going to float away with that perk from the Sigma. Accretion from Nyang goes wide. Abdallah now has a lot of overhealth to work with here, and he's getting very greedy. Discord Orb from Sunken Rusher onto Nyang is causing that HP to fall very fast. And now here is the Captive Sun from Hikuli, or from Hypnotic onto Hikuli. He'll get a nice headshot to follow up as well. Phone on the Bastion on the high ground, doling out damage right now, but Team Nyang is still stable through it all. Abdallah now, Kinetic Grasp as a desperation measure, is forced to touch the cart though to stop the overtime. Takes out the enemy Sig, but it is not enough. Team Nyang will full cap Circuit Royale.
Hypnotic really is a strong player for Team Yang here. Every major engage with those Captive Suns is really winning for them. It is beautiful to see.
Yeah, I mean, Hypnotic has been such a huge difference maker, but I also think, you know, Niang himself should not be understated. He's been able to find his comfort zone playing the Sigma here. We saw him bring it out map 1 on Lijiang Tower, so we know that it's something that he feels very confident on, especially if you're playing it on a map that's, you know, traditionally not great for Sigma. Now that he's in his home turf playing the Sigma on Circuit Royale, I mean, he's finding a nice groove here, able to hold his own with Abdallah. I mean, one of the better SIGs in Overwatch history, right? You know, we should not understate how storied these guys are. I mean, a lot of the guys from UT Dallas have been playing the game at a high level for nearly a decade at this point, and Abdallah was known for playing SIG, I mean, since that character came out, right? So for Niang to come out, play on ping, take a Sig mirror against this guy, and be able to hold his own in the way that he is right now, very, very impressive, and it's doing wonders that he managed to full cap Circuit Royale off the back of the Sig play in overtime. Now, composition's coming out. It's looking like we're going to have almost a full mirror. Team Niang is going to have a different backline from Team Abdallah, but you see that the Ashe, the Genji, and the Sigma are all the same on both teams as of right now, barring any swaps that could come through. That being said, Team Abdallah backline is going to be Sunken Rusher on the Lifeweaver, a bit of an unorthodox pick, and then Doi on the Alari, very solid on this map. And meanwhile, Hermosa is going to be on the Ana. Okay, Sunken Rusher off of the Lifeweaver onto the Kiriko, so they're going to roll out on that. The only difference in these two comps being that Hermosa is going to play the Ana, going to be throwing those anti-nades, and then Sunken Rusher is going to be playing the Kiriko, and his job will be to cleanse them. So let's see what the difference making can be with that cooldown usage from Hermosa. Eric goes over the top of the side of Circuit Royale. He's going to get forced back though. A lot of poke coming out from Team Abdallah. Doi, nice shots on Alari, and then Hiku Lee as well on the Ashe, just taking away a lot of his HP. Port Orange will find a nice headshot out of Doi though, and that's going to be able to stable things out for Team Niang. Phone is forced out of his side room as well on the Reaper. Starting to get beat back little by little. Team Niang managing to stabilize here. Moser one's a little bit low, but no one is there to follow up just yet.
Poor Orange cannot find a way out there. It was very trapped there.
Yeah, poor Orange. I mean, just gets stuck in. No coach gun. Nice headshot from Sunken Rusher is going to take him out. Now, Team Abdallah advancing forward. Phone is able to do so much work in the cleanup phase on the Reaper here. You know, one opening pick from Team Abdallah is going to really quickly turn into a snowball when you have the Reaper on your team. Now, Abdallah 94% to his Graphitic Flux, and Yang only 46 to his. So Abdallah's going to be able to get this off uncontested, and he's just going for it straight away. Beautiful, beautiful Hyperspheres onto Hypnotic and poor Orange. Now Abdallah pushing towards the spawn with the Graphitic Flux, lands onto Hermosa, but he's not going to fall. Now Hermosa clapping back, doing a lot of damage right now. Accretion will miss onto Eric, but I mean, first point is going to get captured here. That Team Abdallah, that's all he really wanted out of that Flux. It zones out Team Niang long enough to be able to capture that first point. Abdallah says, lucky sleep. Just jawing at Hermosa a little bit. It's fun to see the banter between these guys.
Maybe a cheeky Reaper flank coming here from Phone, and we'd love to see the Death Blossom is very soon. It is imminent.
Definitely going to be tough to get value out of the Blossom on this map. I mean, wow, what a strike from Eric. I mean, catches Phone on the rotation. Phone does not even have time to take a shot in Eric's direction. Then 2, 3 will fall as well. Doi, Hiku Lee, and now Abdallah. Eric just gets a quick 4K off the back of one little slip-up. Not even a slip-up, just a little bit of a lapse in attention from Phone. And that's going to be a quick fight for Team Niang. No ultimates even invested. Now, 4 coming online for Team Niang. They have the Graphitic Flux, they have the Dragon Blade, they have the Nano Boost, and they have the Captive Sun. A little bit slow to the bob from poor Orange, but still faster than Hiku Lee, his opposing Ashe on Team Abdallah. So a lot of resources to work with here for Team Niang. It just is a matter of how they're going to use it. Hypnotic is looking to use this Captive Sun right now, waiting for the right opportunity. Hermosa's going to go the Nano onto Eric, and he's going to go for that Blade. He's going to strike down Doi before Doi can get the Captive Sun off. Now he's on the Sunken Rusher. Abdallah on the cart, no saving him. Meanwhile, though, the backline is starting to get traded out. Phone gets the Death Blossom onto poor Orange, but Eric is in. Now they're both running so low here. Phone does have that Wraith, though, is able to escape the engagement, and things are starting to stabilize for Team Abdallah. Those respawns coming in very soon here. It's imminent for them to find the pick on the Phone, and there it is. Phone goes down after using that Wraith, and that will allow Team Abdallah to, maybe not. Hiku Lee gets a headshot on a Hypnotic. Things are still looking dangerous. Young does have the Graphitic Flux though. Needs to make sure he does not get stunned out of it by Abdallah. That Accretion could ruin his day, and there's the Accretion that could give him an opportunity to use it. Still low HP, but he's going to let it fly. Connects onto Sunken Orange, Hiku Lee, and Abdallah. They're all going to run low. Hack from Phone, switching onto that Sombra is not going to cancel it in time, but traded out though. Abdallah manages to live, and now he has his second Graphitic Flux of the offense online. Going to strike right back. Hermosa will fall down by the wayside. Now poor Orange running very low. Accretion does not connect onto Hypnotic, and now that Captive Sun is out. Doi is going to fall as a result. Abdallah getting pushed back right now, and it is just blow for blow. Everyone is so low. So many resources coming out. Phone gets a hack onto Eric, but Eric is going to live for now. Now Hiku Lee and Poor Orange both have the Bob online. Only resources for both of these teams to work with at the moment. Phone caught out of position once again. Hypnotic lands a nice shot. Eric goes for a very ambitious dash in. The Suzu is good from Sunken Rusher, going to stop him from getting value for now. Nice nade from Hermosa onto Abdallah. He's going to try to punish that misuse of the Suzu, but Abdallah's still going to live, has that kinetic grasp available. Poor Orange on the high ground, poking and prodding, going very low, but still has that mob. And then so much damage is being dealt out from Hypnotic right now. He's just doing so much work to stop Abdallah from his own angle. Poor Orange on the high ground, still a little bit uncontested now. Phone is going to try to open things up here. Moving into the back line, almost has that EMP, is looking to build it right now. Mid-sleep from Hermosa, but Phone is going to slip away just in time, but Eric with the punish on the teleporter is ready to stop them. Hiku Lee with the Bob is going to take down Nyang, and then Doi with the Captive Sun following up. Hermosa will fall as well. Team Abdallah is starting to find the numbers in this fight, and then the Bob presence from Hiku Lee is doing enough to seal it. Finally, Team Abdallah going to break through the second point hold. I don't think Team Young is even going to be able to get a touch here.
Yeah, I will say both bombs going up at the same time was quite interesting. Both held them for so long on that first part of the map, and then seeing them both go at the same time, and the Captive Suns also both going off.
Nano Blade out from Team Nyang. Eric is in. Hiku Lee will be the first to fall. Graphitic Flux will miss. Eric dashes out just in time, and the backline will fall as well. Abdallah now no HP in the corner, no resources left to keep him alive, and a last-second touch from Team Nyang will completely swing this fight. They have a chance to hold Team Abdallah on second point here.
Very long drawn-out fights for the second point here completely. Both teams will lose one or two, but then the fight will keep going. It'll get drawn out, and it keeps going. Very stalled out.
And if there's anything we're looking at right now, it's going to be that EMP from Phone. It needs to come up huge. Hypnotic has the Captive Sun available. That's a huge tool for Team Nyang, and their only lifeline to try to keep this hold alive right now. Otherwise, that Kitsune Rush from Sunken Rusher would come up huge. Phone runs very low. Will just get choked down by Hypnotic. Not even going to get a chance to get that EMP off, and that's even more precious time on the clock for Team Nyang. Team Abdallah now, 40 seconds left to get a touch off here. Abdallah going to swap off the Sig onto the Diva. Hiku Lee gets caught out as well by the poke. The kinetic spheres from Nyang are deadly. Now he has a Graphitic Flux built up, and the longer these fights go on, the more resources Team Nyang gets to hold this point. And you see still only the Kitsune Rush and the EMP online for Team Abdallah. Two very strong ults, but now the Graphitic Flux adds another variable into the equation. Alright, there is the hack from Phone. It's going to get blocked by the shield from Nyang. Accretion will get Suzu the way. Now here's the EMP. They're going to try to burn Nyang before he gets a chance to use this Graphitic Flux, but he's living behind a shield right now. Graphitic Flux comes out, and it's going to connect. Eric is now dashing and slashing through all of Team Abdallah, taking out one after another, and Abdallah is the only man left alive in that Baby Diva form. He is going to be the last man, the only hope for Team Abdallah to try to take this map, and they're not going to be able to do it. A pretty big upset as Team Nyang takes out Team Abdallah.
Absolutely crushed it, if I want to make a comment there. Honestly, I loved Hypnotic's gameplay. It was very enjoyable to watch the different Captive Suns go off, and then Eric's engages were beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I expected Eric to do a lot of work. It's not easy to have a high impact on the game, especially when you're on Genji, on Circuit Royale. That character on that map can be pretty tough to make work, but man, what a difference maker Hypnotic was in that match. Every single Captive Sun, it felt like the fight was a foregone conclusion. When he would throw that out, 2 people dead, minimum, off of Team Abdallah. There was nothing they could do about it. And then also just the neutral. The way he was playing his poke phases, he was hitting almost every single shot. He was never getting caught out of position.
Got out Phone multiple times when Phone was up in the backline on Sombra. Hypnotic was the one that shut Phone down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, did a perfect job marking the Sombra. I mean, after Phone swapped to Sombra, they were on that character for about 3 minutes. They got 1 EMP off, and it was in the very last fight of the game. And a lot of that was due in part to Hypnotic being able to mark Phone so effectively, stop them from getting any poke, any hack engages off on that Sombra. So, I mean, MVP of that map absolutely would have to be Hypnotic, no question about it. I mean, he came up absolutely huge for CAU, or rather for, you know, for Team Nyang. But man, pretty big upset, all things considered. Generally, after the way those first 2 maps went, you'd expect Team Abdallah with their 3 players from UT Dallas to come out commandingly and still be able to, you know, take that map afterwards. But I mean, Team Nyang did a very good job, and they were able to get that map pretty decisively, despite, you know, having 3 players from CAU to UTD's 3 on Team Abdallah. After how dominant Team UTD looked, I definitely expected Team Abdallah to have the upper hand.
I'll say Abdallah is a very strong player across the board, completely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So really, you do expect that to be the complete advantage, almost a stop, if anything, just that commanding force. But Nyang is doing a really good job holding down the fort and really leading his team into victory here.
I think a lot of that is also just the situation they were thrown into. You know, on a map like Circuit Royale, while you do get the Sig mirror, there's not a ton of skill expression if you're just going to mirror Sig on Circuit Royale. A lot of what happens in that mirror is going to be based on how your team, and especially your supports, are playing the game. You know, if there is something like a Widowmaker in the mix, then obviously a lot of pressure and impact is going to come from their end. But specifically, you know, when you're mirroring the Sig, a lot of times you're just shooting the enemy Sig, shooting their shield, and trying to force out their resources. The only times you really get a chance to take a duel where your mechanical skill matters a lot is when there's a flux on available for either of the Sigmas, and you have a chance to use the accretion to stun them out of it. So that being said, I think Hypnotic just being the stronger Lari on that map was enough of a difference maker to kind of negate anything Abdallah was able to do on the Sigma there, even though I think he did play the matchup a little bit better, got more value out of his accretions, you know, played a little bit safer, did more damage overall, had better flux usage, just because Hypnotic was such a force, man. It allowed Nyang to kind of, you know, keep his team in it and then eventually win that map.
And Abdallah did try to swap to the D.Va very late in that round, at the very end, to try to make the difference there, but I think it was just too late to really put up anything important, get that tempo going, and it just didn't quite work out.
Yeah, and then at that point, you know, you had some ults online for Team Nyang as well, and it's looking like actually Young Guy is going to be coming in and replacing Poor Orange, so their original DPS player from map 1 is going to be swapping back in, meaning that he's going to be suiting up for Team Nyang, trying to go back-to-back with Nyang to take the last 2 maps of our show match today. Again, as a reminder, guys, first 2 maps when UTD was playing CAU, UTD won both pretty commandingly. And then just now, Team Nyang defeated Team Abdallah on Circuit Royale. We have 1 more map to play today, and it's also going to be same teams, but Poor Orange subbed out and Young Guy subbed in. So the last map of today's show match, Team Abdallah versus Team Nyang, is going to be on Suravasa. And I mean, now you're definitely looking to your DPS players here to have high impact. Eric, for one, is someone that I'm really keeping an eye on. It's actually looking like Phone is going to swap over to the Zarya, and Abdallah is going to play the Reapers. So, I mean, Phone is definitely known to play a lot of tank, especially when Abdallah is not able to show up to matches, or, you know, even just on the ladder alone. Phone is a very strong tank player in their own right, and Abdallah has been grinding a lot of DPS lately, so the role swap, I think, is what Team Abdallah wants to look for to try to get their team back in this and take the last map of the day.
You're saying the classic Juno Kiri here for the maximum speed as well for the Hermoso's opting to go for the Lucio instead.
Yeah, pretty standard backline from Team Nyang. They're going to run the Kiri Lucio. They have the Winston as well. I think Nyang is going to be enabled a whole lot by that Kiri Lucio backline, but they're definitely going to want to take the pace into their own hands. If there's anyone I'm watching on Suravasa, especially, it's going to be Eric on that Tracer. You have a lot of opportunity, especially when paired with the Winston on this map, to be able to get big value. Nyang chilling on this high ground right now, just poking around, and I mean already, you see Eric comes in, takes a side fight, Sunken Rush will be the first name to fall. Now it's all just clean up. Hiku Lee will go down next, and now Eric has to use the recall, still has so many resources available. Phone, no bubbles. Eric is just storming through, doling out damage, and that'll be a very quick fight for Team Nyang.
Eric already making superstar plays you expect to see on the Tracer, especially on Suravasa. This is such a Tracer-heavy map that it's just beautiful to see.
Yeah, and I mean, Team Abdallah, I think is going to struggle to get value out of this Zarya Reaper composition, because all of your value is going to come from being able to bubble your Reaper. But I mean, what do you bubble him onto? And now you see instantly reflecting that, Phone is going to go off of the Zarya onto the Winston. So we'll have a Winston mirror. Only difference in the compositions at this point, as Doi swaps over to Lucio, will be Abdallah on the Reaper while Eric is on the Tracer. So again, Eric should have a pretty easy time getting access to the backline of Team Abdallah. Phone gets forced out very early, a lot of damage coming out from Young Guy on that cast. Then Nyang is going to dive in and take out Hiku Lee. Traded out though by Abdallah on the Reaper, has a lot of punish for that Winston, but Hermosa gets the better of Doi in the duel. Trades going both ways right now, and Sunken Rusher coming up big in the middle of this fight, finds Eric with a nice headshot, then Hermosa will fall as well. Team Abdallah now taking space. Hypnotic has no teleport, is forced out. But Young Guy, nice headshot onto Sunken Rusher is going to punish them, although Team Abdallah will flip the point here. Now Hiku Lee respawning. Team Abdallah starting to take a whole lot of space, moving in here. And now, nice shot from Hiku Lee will take out Young Guy. And finally, Team Abdallah will be able to take a breath and stabilize here on Suravasa as they win a fight.
I think Hiku Lee's actually doing an excellent job here of pushing out Eric in those fights. You're seeing a lot of very solid shots on Eric, forcing him to force cooldowns, the recall and the blinks.
Whoa, high noon in the spawn for Young Guy right now. Really just trying to tell Team Abdallah to back off. They're not going to get a lot of value out of this, but the Winston is stuck left side. Phone could get punished here if they're not careful. Scouted out by Young Guy, but the hit is good. Abdallah and Phone are ready for Young Guy to swing that corner, punish it just as effectively. Now Eric is in, has the pulse bomb available, doesn't want to let it fly just yet. Doi will fall, trades coming through. It's not over for Team Nyang just yet. Phone will have that Primal forced out. Good stick by Eric is going to do a whole lot of damage. Abdallah now has no raid. Can Eric find any value in the sideline here? No. Phone comes through with that Primal. Will be able to deny any of that possible trade potential. And now Kitsune Rush from Team Nyang. Desperation attempt to close distance onto the point here as Team Abdallah has the numbers advantage. Hiku Lee will get caught out in the side fight. Hermosa sweeps in on that Lucio and is able to clean up in the mid fight. Abdallah has no Wraith. He's getting forced back right now. And then here is the Blossom and the Kitsune Rush coming out from Team Abdallah. They're going to take fast space onto this point here. 99% and counting. Team Abdallah coming up very dominant right now. Phone goes a little too deep, is traded by Hypnotic, but should still be Team Abdallah cleaning up first point of Saravasa here, despite a lot of fight from Team Nyang. After that first cap, Team Abdallah is just dominant in the back end.
Abdallah definitely, Team Abdallah was definitely having more issues before swapping off the Zarya onto the Winston match instead. The Zarya definitely was not getting nearly as much value for Abdallah to capture the point, but once they held the point, they had it.
Now that we're mirrored up on this Winston too, I mean, Team Abdallah, it's kind of looking like they got a second wind here. I think Abdallah's actually getting a lot of value out of the Reaper right now. Eric is really struggling to find those early picks like he did when they were on the Zarya composition. I mean, very early engage here from Phone. Eric is in the back line. Ooh, Ajax from Doi.
Ajax from Doi.
Nice clip from Eric, but with the follow-up from Nyang, it's going to mean that Doi does not get that sound barrier off in time. High Noon from Young Guy does a lot of damage, forces out a lot of cooldowns, but it's not going to be quite enough. Hermosa running low, Hypnotic low as well. The cleanup will go the way of Team Abdallah despite the best efforts of Eric. I mean, he's doing so much as these fights draw on, but man, there's just such a fast pace coming out from Team Abdallah right now that it's really difficult for Eric to get those trades before his teammates are already gone.
Really surprised to see Team Abdallah really capture the point there, even with the Ajax from Doi.
Nice hit from Team Nyang. Nyang is going to take down Hiku Lee. Team Abdallah getting beat back to the ends of this point right now. Hermosa will win the Lucio duel once again onto Doi. I mean, this is just stellar Lucio play from the star main support of UT Dallas, just putting Doi in his place. Absolutely dominant gameplay right now. And Team Nyang will bite back, take a capture on the second point here of Saravasa. 48% for Team Abdallah, and that Primal Rage is going to be coming online for Phone as well as the Death Blossom for Abdallah. That said, Hypnotic does have the Kitsune Rush, and there will be no Kitsune Rush from Sunken Rusher to be able to match it. So let's see how much value they're able to get out of this. One good Kitsune Rush should seal this fight. And now here it comes. Young Guy pulls it out early. Phone is going to use that Primal Rage to try to force Team Nyang out of it, but Hiku Lee will be dove successfully by Nyang off the back of that Kitsune Rush. He goes a little bit too aggressive though, and Abdallah's able to find the trade. That said, Hermosa once again is just putting belt onto Doi in this Lucio mirror. I think he's 3-0 in these side fights against the enemy Lucio right now. Nice clip from Eric will get Abdallah very low. He has no Wraith right now, trying to stabilize on this mini. Phone is pooped off the map by Hermosa. This guy is absolutely dominating right now. I mean, it's not a character you really see make a lot of impact normally, but Hermosa's doing big things on the Lucio and is keeping Team Nyang in this game as far as I'm concerned. 80% and counting Team Abdallah. Phone does not have the Primal Rage. Is going to have a very difficult time touching this point. It's looking like they might not even go for it at all. Just going to say, all right, we'll go to the next point. You guys got this one. Team Nyang going to even it up 1-1 on Saravasa. Very scrappy fight right now. A lot of trades going around, but Team Nyang still coming up big in these mid fights. Doi skating away at rapid speed. Eric does get flashed and punished by Hiku Lee. Blossom from Abdallah as well. I mean, they're investing into this fight nowhere close to the point right now. It's a good fight for Team Abdallah, but you have to wonder, could those ults be better used once the next point unlocks? Because Team Nyang is going to be there pretty much just as fast as Team Abdallah, despite Team Abdallah winning that fight.
Yeah, really did overinvest in that fight, I feel like, on Abdallah's end. I mean, Team Nyang has so much more ults up here for the next fight to really actually capture the actual point instead of the in-fight skirmishes before the point.
By the way, Hypnotic almost has the Kitsune Rush built up again before Sunken Rusher has been able to use it. He is absolutely lapping them right now. Hiku Lee, great hit from Eric, and Nyang will take him out early. He's just been getting punished so quickly in these fights, and then that is going to be a commanding fight for Team Nyang. They only have to use the Sound Barrier and the Pulse Bomb. No other investment, so the ult economy still relatively even. That being said, Doi has the Sound Barrier of their own online. Team Nyang needs to find a way to maybe try to force another Ajax to even up this ult economy. Doi poking around right now. Team Abdallah trying to posture. And I mean, very unconventional positioning from Team Nyang. Doi is in. Sound Barrier will pop. Hypnotic will use that Kitsune Rush to try to hold the space right now. Abdallah's getting a lot of damage in. Sunken still has not ripped that Kitsune Rush of their own, but Phone, regardless, is doing so much work. Traded out by the Primal from Nyang. Young Guy doing a lot of work as well. Doi starting to get value here in the mid-fight, and things are really scrappy right now. Nice boot from Doi is going to force Nyang out of position. Hypnotic will be the last man standing for Team Nyang as Team Abdallah storm toward the point and take a capture of their own. Now, numbers coming back for Team Nyang. Respawns are coming in quick. Hiku Lee needs to get the safety very quickly. Phone will swoop in from spawn, pop that Primal Rage. Hermosa goes down early. Now they're just going to extend, try to get some extra picks here. Oh, very dangerous high noon from Young Guy there. Is punished very quickly by Doi on that Lucio.
He had
Now
hopes there.
Abdallah, yeah, I mean, you know, God loves a trier, as Christopher would say. if you're not dying, you're not trying, right? Team Nyang now, no ults to their name. Sunken Rusher does have the Kitsune Rush still online. It's been holding it for a very long time here. Probably going to want to use it to try to seal up this point as soon as Team Nyang closes the distance. Let's see how Sunken Rusher is able to use that for Team Abdallah. Getting beat back into this room right now. Team Nyang is really struggling to find any space onto the point. Recall is forced out from Eric, and now here is the Kitsune from Sunken Rusher. And I mean, that's going to be a very easy punish. Nyang is caught out in the middle of the point. Nice Susie from Sunken Rusher is going to cleanse the Pulse Bomb stick from Eric. And Team Nyang is looking a little bit dangerous right now. Young Guy will get caught out. I mean, it's very scrappy, but Hiku Lee is stationed in the center of the point, and he is not missing. Finds Eric, finds Young Guy. That should be 0.3 to Team Abdallah. Now 2-1, 1 point left to go. Can Team Young go undefeated 2-0, or will Team Abdallah clap back? It's looking like they might take Saravasa at this rate. They're playing very well right now.
Hikuli made very strong efforts to actually get a trade, and it was looking very good. Abdallah does have the ult advantage here going to the next point. Barely. They do have ults coming up on Team Nyang.
Hiku Lee put a lot on the line, hit those nice shots there, but wasn't quite able to get the trade. I mean, you know, Nyang just kind of stormed in. The cast is a really easy target here. Abdallah also doing a lot of work still on this Reaper, finding very easy punishes onto Nyang. I think it's been a big difference maker for Team Abdallah so far in this map. He does have the Death Blossom, but the question is, how can you find any value to use it? Nyang is in very aggressive, but the Sound Barrier from Hermosa is going to support that dive. Doi is going to have to use his in return, and all the ults are getting dumped right now. Team Abdallah is finding the most value. That Death Blossom onto Hypnotic is going to take him out. And I mean, Nyang will find the trade onto Hiku Lee's story of the map so far, but it's just not going to be enough. He's just a sitting duck waiting for Abdallah to come clean up, and there it is. Team Abdallah, first cap on the 4th point will go their way. Every single ult in the lobby used except for the Primal Rage from Nyang, so that's going to be what we're looking for in this next fight. Can he manage to get value out of it, or will it just get punished by Abdallah on that Reaper? Now Eric off the Tracer, onto the Reaper. Going to be a full mirror of the compositions here, and immediately you see that value start to pay off. Abdallah will get picked off very early. This should be a very straightforward fight for Team Nyang. Another easy pick. Doi is followed up on, and then Eric is just doing so much work. Nice trade from Phone onto Young Guy. Sunken Rusher and Phone are forced into the back section of the map right now as Eric is storming forward. Then the pinch comes in from Nyang, from Hypnotic. Hypnotic cleans up the last 2 players from Team Abdallah. And now Team Nyang has a chance to try to take this point. DPS ults coming online. They have the Blossom. They have the High Noon. Only a little more poke needed to build those.
You know, just like both teams' Cassies are the main target of aggression by the Winstons. The Winstons diving on both teams' Cassies almost every fight, and then it's just fighting to stay alive.
Ooh, nice Suzu from Hypnotic, but it's not going to be enough. Huge hit from Team Abdallah there. Fona is going to storm through and take out the carry very early before any ults can even be popped. Almost no chance. Young Guy uses the High Noon once again, but back to the wall. I mean, these guys get punished so hard for using those High Noons. And Team Abdallah will take another easy fight without even having to invest. That said, Team Nyang 65% captured on that point. They really only need one good fight here if they cap early in the fight to be able to even this up to 2-2 and go to a 0.5 on Saravasa. Dive is in from Nyang. Phone is going to use that bubble to cut off the heals, but a big Death Blossom from Eric is going to clean up every single person on Team Abdallah. Eric is huge in that fight. Primal Rage, Cherry on top from Nyang, and now if they play their cards right, if they poke up and make it difficult for Team Abdallah to touch, that could confirm this point for Team Nyang and send us to a 0.5 here. Hypnotic also very close to that Kitsune rush. They should be able to build it before the touch comes out for Team Abdallah.
Abdallah's getting very close to the beat though for that full engage.
Yeah, Doi almost has the beat right now. Phone goes in with the Primal Rage. Here's the Kitsune rush from Hypnotic, and then the beat in response from Doi. Nyang is going to fall very early. Eric gets a trade onto Hiku Lee. Phone is so low right now. Team Nyang needs to find a cleanup kill here. Phone jumps back into this Kitsune rush. How much work can Eric do with the Kitsune? It finally wears off, and now Team Abdallah has the DPS ults online. Eric gets a nice pick on the Sunken Rusher. Abdallah in with the Blossom, gets booped in towards Eric, who has no raid. And now it's going to be Team Nyang finally coming out on top in this big fight. But oh, Team Nyang still holding on here, 99% to the point. Hiku Lee trades out Hypnotic, and now finally they're going to stabilize. Nyang will be the last face to fall, 73% on the point for Team Abdallah. Team Nyang needs to get a touch here. Erica's going to swap over to the Tracer to make that a lot easier. Hermosa has that sound barrier. That is an enormous tool to keep Eric alive on this touch. But, I mean, can they zone him out and make it impossible for Eric to touch? He's going to get up from the left side. That'll trigger the OT. Now, Phone, pretty big on the punish right now, trying to keep Eric away from this fight. Abdallah now gatekeeping him on the left side towards that Mega. Here is the sound barrier from Hermosa. In response, Hikubi will use that High Noon to try to stop the advancement of Team Nyang. It's going to work successfully and will actually get a pick onto Young Guy as well, but then Nyang gets the hit onto Doi in the side fight before he's able to build that sound barrier. Eric now coming up huge, trades out Hiku Lee. Castles for both teams are dead, and Nyang doing so much work. Abdallah will fall. Sunken Rusher one-clipped by Eric in the back of this fight, and now Phone is the last person standing for Team Abdallah. It won't be enough. 99-99, Team Nyang clap back, and we are going to 0.5 on Surabasa for our last map of the show match.
Things looking incredibly dire for that point for Team Nyang there. They came back twice, I feel like, and it just kept going.
Yeah, I mean, Team Nyang, once they got those respawns in, a nice touch from Eric, smart to switch over to the Tracer, procs that overtime for Team Nyang, and the sound barrier from Hermosa allows them to get so much value, and then the trades in the mid-fight. Eric was so huge in that regard. Wow, Nyang a little bit overzealous. Abdallah gets an easy punish onto him on the Winston. That should guarantee a first capture here for Team Abdallah. Eric now going in with those pulse pistols, trying to see if he can get something traded out, but not to be Hiku Lee with that piercing bullet perk is going to take him out. And yeah, Team Abdallah just storming through. Hiku Lee coming up big in the cleanup here. Will they press their luck? Yeah, they're going to go in for another dive here despite Foam being low, but they're going to guarantee these stagger kills. TP from Hypnotic now towards Nyang, who just got back in the fight. Primal Rage is forced out from Foam because they run to low HP. Now getting juggles. Hypnotic though goes so low. Finally is going to be taken out by Phone. Nice jump to guarantee that kill. And that's going to take us up to about 50% on the point for Team Abdallah before Team Nyang is able to come back into this fight.
We see Eric switch back to Reaper very handily, which I think definitely is better. It's going to be very hard for Eric to make any advances on Tracer with Hiku Lee having the Silver Bullet perk. Once Silver Bullet, you're basically dead as Tracer. It's death sentence.
Early sound barrier from Doi is going to open things up for Team Abdallah, and in response, the Kitsune Rush from Hypnotic is going to keep Team Nyang stable in this fight. Now, teleport to the point from Eric is going to flip this point into the favor of Team Nyang, even though no trades are out yet. The sound barrier and the Kitsune Rush come out, but the point is flipped in favor of Team Nyang. Now, if you're Team Abdallah, you want to use this Kitsune Rush to get into the point and try to force out that Primal from Nyang. Nyang going to go in very early here, try to zone out the remainder of the team. There is the Primal Rage. Ninth Death Blossom from Abdallah is going to do a lot of damage to Nyang, but Hypnotic comes up with a nice headshot onto Hiku Lee. Trade is out onto Hypnotic. Phone will find them, but Eric takes out Doi in the mid-fight. Now Eric is coming up big on this Reaper here. Point is still flipped in Team Nyang's favor, and there's so much percent being added now. 50 and counting, and Team Nyang is close to another sound barrier. I don't think Doi is going to be able to build another one before this game ends. So that'll be a huge tool for Team Nyang, and Doi will not have a chance to mirror it, as Team Nyang only needs one more win on the defense here in order to seal Surabasa. Abdallah punishes Nyang very early into that engage, and that's going to open things up pretty easily for Team Abdallah. Yeah, they're just going to roll through this point. No opportunity for ultimates to come out for Team Nyang. As they get picked off too early, they lose their tank and they decide it's not worth the investment. Now Hermosa going to die on the point, try to push things over to 99. Same thing with Hypnotic. They'll both die, but not before getting 99% here. Which means if there is a touch or a flip from Eric, that would force Team Abdallah into an uncomfortable position. But right now, ooh, that's bad. Young Guy gets picked up very early. It's going to mean he comes back with about 90-something% on this point. It's looking like Team Nyang is going to have to try to take this engagement without their Cassidy. They do have the sound barrier from Hermosa that would allow them to do that. Eric is looking for a TP in. Gets pressured out by Hiku Lee. And now here's the sound barrier from Hermosa. Nice hit from Nyang onto Sunken Rush is going to take them out. Eric is sitting on the point but has his Death Blossom. Could zone out the team. Oh my gosh, what a huge high noon from Hiku Lee. Takes out Hermosa, takes out Eric. Now Team Abdallah is suddenly, they have the upper hand in this fight. Young Guy getting pushed away by Phone on that Winston. He's starting to run so low. Shots are not falling. Abdallah will trade him out, but he gets the flash onto Abdallah. Things are still pretty even, but now Doi with the 11th hour sound barrier is going to seal things up for Team Abdallah as they take back our final map of the show match today. 3-2, 99-99 on the 5th point of Surabasa. Team Abdallah will get it done. So we end up 1-1 on our show matches, or on our mixed team matches of the show match today, showing that both of these schools, you know, when you mix up the players, they can go blow for blow. It just depends on what style you want to run. We thought Nyang looked amazing on the Sigma on Circuit Royale, but then you come back, you know, Phone switches to the tank, Abdallah to the Reaper on Surabasa, and on that Winston, Phone looked really, really comfortable, was able to lead their team to victory. Team Abdallah comes back after the role swap and manages to steal that last map. And everybody, that wraps up our show match for today. Again, we are so thankful for Chung-Ang University for giving us this opportunity to play against them. Although it was a little bit scuffed, because one team's playing in Seoul, one team is playing in Dallas. One of us had to be on ping here. We, flip-flopped it around between the maps, but it was still such a great experience. We're really happy to be able to network with them like this and give them a chance to kind of put their program, on the UTD Esports channel. We had a blast, absolute blast. Our players obviously had a great time. We're chirping at each other the entire match. But again, huge thank you to Chung-Ang University. Shout out to the Dragons as they develop their Overwatch program. And shout out to Chris as well for flying out all the way to Dallas to organize this event with us. It was an absolute pleasure. Again, guys, we're your casters. I'm Craig.
I'm Braxton.
And this has been an absolute treat. Congrats to everyone who played in the show match today. And we will see you guys next semester when the Overwatch season starts back up officially for UTD Esports.
난 지금 on my way. 갖다 버려줘 너의 fairy tale. Now you know my name. I'm anti-fragile, anti-fragile. Anti-fragile, fragile. Anti-fragile, anti-fragile, fragile. Anti-fragile, anti-fragile. I'm a baddie, 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 pretty little risky baddie. 뭐든 절대로 되라지. Catch me if you can. Baddie, baddie, baddie. 나는 없어 거기 이미 어차피 못하질 테니. Catch me if you can. Nothing with the regulars. 내 뒤에는 blue blood runs. 더 솔직하게 말해줘. 착한 척은 지겨워. 우리 앞선 룰이 의미 없었어 굳이. 유행이 돌고 돌아도 난 그 틀에 없어 이미. I wanna break, I wanna kick, 뛰어놀래 시끄럽게 다채로운 매력 수많은 뼈지 위에 또 빛을 발하지. 답답한 건 벗어 던져. 고개 숙일 필요 없어. I'm a baddie, 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 pretty little risky baddie. 뭐든 될 대로 되라지. Catch me if you can. Baddie, baddie, baddie. 나는 없어 거기 이미 어차피 못 찾을 테니. Catch me if you can.